Hello YouTube and welcome back. We have a brand new build contest here for you. If you haven't seen these videos before, there's an entire playlist on the YouTube side. You can browse through all of that. You can even come over to the Discord side where we have in the archives a ton of brainstorming and theory crafting that's happened for previous build contests in the past. So we've done this for things like cooldown recovery speed when that first got added to the game, for the Mad Alchemist Ladle, for what was it? Bane of Winter was one of them as well. Firestarter's Torch, Rotmine, Jaspers, Dark Shroud of Cinders. We've done a lot of build contests at this point, and they become like really one of the things that people seem to look forward to every time that there's a new patch in Last Epoch, which is wonderful. I love it. So this time around, I challenged people about a week and a half ago to make a new build highlighting something that uses set item crafting. So today, there were 27 builds that were submitted to this. We spent some time on stream on twitch.tv/ParathePig previously going over these builds, trying to narrow it down to hopefully 10 things down here, 10 submissions. Narrowing it down to 10 that we will be highlighting in this video for the build contest. So today, I narrowed it down to 12. It was hard. So it's 12 builds that we're going over today, alongside one extra honorable mention, which I wanted to trim out of it and like only have 12 or only have 10. But like, there's really some great ideas in here. So if you're ever like theory crafting, like new builds, you're wondering like, how do other people approach their builds? What kind of questions do they ask? What interactions are people trying to highlight when they are in the process of making builds? All of this archived information is perfect for you. So without further ado, let's begin Season 2 build contest centered around set item crafting. Build number one. Let's scroll. Build number one is... I did these all in order, didn't I? Build number one comes from Arborist. Arborist is a longtime gamer, friend of the channel as well. So he did a build here called the Last Bear / Shattered Lance Aftershock Tempest Strike build. First things first, let's click on this. Let's pop open YouTube and we will watch what's going on with this character here. I don't think there's any audio. Is there? Yeah, there's some audio. Let's see. Terrible damage. Has barely damaged the boss yet. Very disappointing. Okay, there. It's more damage. This is 100 corruption with 25% increased health. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Respectable amount of damage. It ramps really well, doesn't it? I like it. I think Aftershocks have a new visual. I don't remember Aftershocks having a visual like this before. It does. It does ramp. This is a good ramping damage. Love it. All right. So no gameplay for like a mono or something, but we have a good idea of like what the single target damage looks like. So let's read through this so you can get a better idea of what Arborist is trying to highlight in the build. So this is using Last Bear. Last Bear, it's worth noting for you right now that Last Bear is one of the most popular sets that we're going to see. And I'll do a breakdown for you at the very end after we talk through everything. So I can show you like which sets were popular and which sets weren't popular. So Last Bear gives us 30 strength. It gives us regen, which we might be using this build as well. I think we are. And I think it gives you physical damage, releases health as well, and your chest piece affix. But let's keep poking through here. So we have Last Bear plus strength to scale health regen, and then we're using regen to scale cold damage via Shattered Lance. So we have two different sets kind of coming together in this build here. So we're abusing the immense attack speed from Beastmaster plus Tempest Strike to proc many aftershocks, generate mana, and fund direct uses of EQ itself. It's kind of like a Judgment Paladin build, but significantly worse smiley face. Well, all right, so attacking extremely fast is fun. High regen feels pretty good since you're not reliant on attacking for Leech. You can still benefit from Leech as well, which is irrelevant because this build is very melee and oftentimes can't maintain full uptime. So we already saw during the video that this person has about 2,000 life. When you're building health regen, you're probably giving up suffixes on your gear, which would otherwise be life, hybrid life, flat life, percent life, things like that. In terms of survivability, resistances are a challenge. This person is playing a Beastmaster. Beastmaster has some of the least access to resistances from their mastery, so they got to make them up somewhere else. This could be solved with idols, but that would mean less regen, and less regen is also less fun. The single target damage has been good enough to feel satisfying. Monolith clear is really bad since you need to hit things with your melee attacks to proc an Aftershock, and the Aftershock to tick for them to die. It's especially bad against moving enemies such as exiled mages. Yeah, when I played an Aftershock build during the 1.1 patch, I had a hard time with the skinny Harbinger because she kept moving. How frustrating. Let's pop open the build planner real quick. And from experience, I can tell you that this video is going to be a nice long one, so I don't want to dawdle too much. We have our nice little belt here with our flat regen, the 20 to 26 health regeneration on this, which is oftentimes something that you see alongside the Shattered Lance set because you want to get as much regen as possible. This person has over 3,000 regen, which is what you need to make the most out of the relic, out of the Shattered Lance sets. Bunch of attack speed, love it, love it. And they did tier 5 affix here and tier 5 affix here. So it's worth noting during this contest that like, some people will use the set bonus and like that's the focal point of what they're doing. And some people use like the modifier or the affix itself. So you can, using a Rune of Havoc, you can get one of these set affixes up to tier 7, but that's the only way to get one of these set affixes to tier 7. So if anything's ever tier 6 or tier 7, you got to like think about, okay, I have to Havoc this. That's going to cut into how good I can make this item or how hard it is to make this item. That's really neat. Love this. And then gloves, last bear set. You see the endurance threshold per strength as the set bonus, which is very cool. And then the tier 7 affix on the gloves, health regen per point of strength, physical melee damage as well. This is sealed tier 1 affix. And on the helmet, we again have sealed tier 1 affix right here. So love to see that. Let's move on to the next build then. This is a dual wield build, true enough. Okay, so that was number 1. Build number 2, baby. Let's see, where is this one? Scroll. This build number 2 comes from Viper-esque. And this is a Poison Shield Rush Paladin. Let's click on that gameplay video real quick. Click. 500 corruption, demonstration of poison shield rush. 10 minutes of gameplay. Oh yeah, baby. Ooh, Twitch chat lights. Is it too loud? I'll turn it down. This build's already interesting. Well, I was attempting to do only boring builds this time around. The submissions did not let that happen. There was one other build that I'm going to talk about briefly that was submitted very similar to this. It was another one that had Poison Shield Rush. And the entire point, it seems, of that other submission was that if you have a boss who is standing next to a wall, you can animation cancel your shield rush and hit much faster, which is hilarious. If you're interested in seeing what that build looks like, you can go look up Gavarian's build on the archives of this post here. So let's pull this back over and see what Viper-esque has to say. It says Ruby Fang set gives you poison chance equal to your fire res, but that's not interesting on its own and has a big defensive opportunity cost if you're spending lots of points on suffixes for your fire resistance. I'm using Paladin's Defiance passive to also convert that 1k fire res into a lot of endurance threshold as well. Wall of Nothing as a body armor to gain ward decay threshold from your endurance threshold, and a bunch of healing and ward generation to end up being very durable defensively. Strand of Souls is also notably sweet with Shield Rush since you're spending so much mana, but you instantly recover that mana, which gives you more ward generation from the unique belt. The gameplay video is familiar Shield Rush ailment stuff, but with poison instead of bleed or ignite, just enough generic damage scaling to cover Sentinel not being a poison class at all. Compared to the other Shield Rush builds that I played, this ended up being slightly lower damage, but significantly tankier, and I'm happy with the results. Shield Rush does have a bug, with a moment where mana recovery doesn't trigger fast enough if you spam too fast. Simply have to be careful if you're using it too fast. There's people in the past, I'm not going to condone this, but people in the past have used like mouse macros and put their Shield Rush on their mouse wheel in order to like mitigate this. It's nonsense. So I don't want to play Shield Rush because it is a tiny bit clunky, but I'm glad that Viper-esque calls out that clunkiness here. Let's look at the planner real quick. Let's see what's going on with this character. We have 967 fire res. Holy crap, that's 967 fire res. T7 fire res, T7 fire res, T7 fire res, T7 fire res, T7 movement speed, coward. T5 fire res, T6, ooh, double T6, I love this. And then only tier 5. Really? Only tier 5 fire res. That's kind of disappointing here. That is so much fire res. I love the combination. So like, here's the set items here. We have tier 4 affix here, and then sealed tier 1 on the shield. And then I love the combination of like all this. You're building fire res, and like you're using this brand new piece of Paladin technology that gives you ward decay threshold per uncapped elemental resistance, and that ward decay threshold gives you the endurance threshold gives you ward decay threshold with the wall of nothing chest piece. I love calling this out because like wall of nothing, I want this thing to be meta. I want more people to use it because I think it's like such a cool chest piece. It's so good. All right, love that build. Let's move on to the next one here. We have, let's see, this one here from X Dumped. This is a cold spriggan form Gatling gun last bear build. So before we dig into the text here, let's pop open the gameplay. This is 600 corruption, monolith, and boss harbinger stuff. So let's see what the spriggan form Gatling gun looks like. Looks like they have a Polaris, double red ring. All right. Show me, sing to me. Their audio. Here's audio. While we were doing like the initial vetting of all the builds to see like which ones we're gonna highlight on the video right now, and then like which ones we're gonna do for the voting, I was really happy to see something with a new Primalist relic that uses the Veil Spirits. So like most people, including myself, looked at the new Primalist relic and just said, oh, like ignore all the Veil Spirit text. It has crit chance on it, and crit chance is good. But like, you know, having this many Veil Spirits following you around, it's really pretty. There might be something here. That's a lot of little projectiles shooting out, isn't it? I like it. Let's skip forward to some boss as well. Another thing that made an impression on me, I guess, is the boss and there's a harbinger. Bom, bom, bom. Another thing that made an impression on me is like this is like a fairly tanky build as well. Let's see, is there like a good clip? Avoiding the damage over time, you coward. Hold on, let me fast forward. Avoiding the damage over time? Okay, so here's the harbinger. Come on, just stand in it. Just stand still. Do it. This is 635% more. Yeah, see, this is a great clip right here, right? Just like standing still, tanking everything. I like that. 635, I forget how much. This is like, what, 600 corruption? Oh, they said, reading the real endgame boss of every action RPG. It is 600 corruption. Right. So this says Last Bear set gives us a whopping 30 strength for the full set in combination with Polaris, which is very cool. It gives us extra spell damage. Let's pop open the planner. I'm going to go to the GG planner real quick so we get a feel for this. So Polaris is a great thing to funnel that strength into. Not only is strength giving you your like armor, but making yourself feel nice and tanky, but you also have +1 spell damage per 2 strength. So that's a great thing to combine with the Last Bear here. Then they say the new Souled Mountain Relic gives us extra Veil Spirits per attunement, and for the cost of 3% less cast speed per Veil Spirits. Because of this reason, we're going pure attunement is kind of terrible. Sorry, it's kind of out of the question, as you end up with bad cast speed plus a lack of flat damage to scale. Got it. We ended up with 120 attunements as a nice breakpoint, giving us 8 + 3 from the tree and 4 base hits for 15 total hits per cast. They did Frozen Ire, best option that I could find, lots of small hits. And then Foot of the Mountain. I love Foot of the Mountain. I actually used Foot of the Mountain in my own not Veil Spirit, but Spirit Thorns build once upon a time. Because like when you're standing still, like you have all this extra dodge that comes from things like Maelstrom giving you extra dodge. And then you convert the dodge into Endurance Threshold, gives you minus mana cost as well, and you just stand still, and all of a sudden you're like really, really tanky. your endurance threshold is like maybe 75% or maybe even like your entire life bar. So love seeing Foot of the Mountain as well. Kind of an older unique item, but it's really relevant, especially with all the attributes, maybe feeding into a red ring for your own builds. So down here, it says, unfortunately, due to minion health issues and higher corruption, I opted into snapshotting minion health on my summon Spriggan. Understandable. But I could manage to move around some prefixes and get that amount of minion health elsewhere. Another option for this particular build, if you wanted to iterate on this, would be the minion health is here for the 8 flat crit and the 15 spell damage. If you could get flat crit in other places, if you could just min-max your build more, maybe approach something from a different direction, maybe you could make up the difference here and then spec out of Spriggan and spec into something else instead. So there are possibilities of what you would want to do if you were to take this build and run with it for yourself. So I think that about does it here. Anything else here? Snapshotting stuff, planner, got it. Okay, so that is our third build, the Cold Spriggan. Let's go take a look at the fourth build. The fourth build, I'm so happy to see this included here. This build was introduced to me a couple days ago, and I'm very happy that it's also in this build contest because it makes use of like some really good mechanics. So this, Spriggan form also gives flat dodge for the Foot of the Mountain. Got it. So for the Whipperlock here, this is something that was highlighted on Dread's YouTube channel, and I love it. It's so big brain. I don't think it's a bug, but if I were in charge, I would change this in the future because it's perhaps too big brain. So let's watch a video real quick before we do too much yapping. Oops. This is Spine of Malatros, the I want to say the H word, the Fire Whip two-handed sword for Chthonic Fissure as a Warlock. Let's see how it performs real quick. We're not gonna watch the full clip, but I do want to point out that this is Uber Aberoth, and that is Uber Aberoth getting stunned, which is pretty impressive. We'll watch it just a tiny little bit, and you get a feel for the build. It's so cozy. It's like a totem that doesn't die. It's like the best boss. So mobile. All right, so you get a feel for what's going on. You can kind of imagine it. Let's see what exactly Antenz is doing here. So he says, Spine of Malatros, the two-handed sword, gives us whips, which get flat spell damage as well as stun chance from Ignite chance due to a node in Chthonic Fissure, as well as crit multi from Necrotic Resistance. This gives a huge incentive for us to stack Ignite chance as high as possible because it gives spell damage and stun chance. And luckily, we get the addition of a new set affix this season, which just so happens to be the Fire Invoker set. So with about 500 Ignite chance and a lot of Necrotic Resistance as well, Singularity boosting damage, we'll talk about that in just 1 second here. Also be able to perma-stun pretty much every boss except for Uber Aberoth, which is very impressive. So I'm going to highlight a couple pieces about this build that weren't described here because, listen, this build is sweet, and please let me feel smart by describing it to you as well. So let's go look at the correct gear, so to speak. One of the things that really makes this build tick is the fact that we have melee damage leeches health on our Spine of Malatros. So melee leeches health in the Lich Mastery, this Hollow Lich. It says all leech is converted to percent increase damage at 10 times its value. So in the helper text here, it says, for example, 1% of spell leech would become 10% increased damage. So like the spell becomes increased like generic. So you would expect that like the melee damage leech's health works as well. The thing that really took me off guard about this build is that when you convert leech into generic percent increased damage, there's no bucket in Last Epoch called generic percent increased damage. Instead, what it does is it looks at all the buckets available to you and it increases all of them by the same amount, which is pretty strong. And it also works. It also like increases the percent increased poison damage of your build. So it works with the Acid Bane node in Chthonic Fissure on the very bottom right. So that particular interaction really stands out to me as, that kind of reveals something about how Last Epoch was coded. That might be too strong. It's definitely not a bug. I would not call it a bug. However, you understand where I'm coming from. This build is Gigabrain. talking about the set affix that's being used here, I think this is a really interesting approach to like this build contest, because we're not necessarily using like the 2 set or the 3 set bonus, like the having different pieces of the gear. We're really just interested in one specific set affix and what that adds to the build. So we have this percent increased fire damage over time. Doesn't scale us, but it does give us 50% chance to apply ignite on hit as a prefix modifier on a ring, which otherwise is just not a prefix modifier that you have access to. Like you can't get bleed chance on a ring, but all of a sudden you can get ignite chance. So this is a very cool use of this this affix here. The last piece of spice to call out is something that's like, again, very, very cool. This it's a crit build that gets to use singularity. So it says you cannot deal crits when you have a singularity equipped, but of course with Acid Bane and like enemy crit vulnerability on the enemy, they can still receive a crit even if you didn't deal the crit. And I really hope that doesn't get removed from the game. It's very niche. It's very interesting. It makes me want to play the game and explore more of these like niche scenarios and like make more Gigabrain builds. This is exactly the kind of thing that I love to see in Last Epoch. And I'm only including this right now because just in case EHG is watching the video as well. This is cool. EHG, don't you do it. This is cool. Keep it in the game. I love it. It's just the right bit unintuitive. Love it. It's the best part of the game. Let's move on to the next build here. So we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to the 5th build. This is a build coming in from Mao Mao X. If you know Mao, then you know that he's been playing exclusively Lich for the past 17 years, since before Last Epoch even launched. So he only plays one thing, and he's got a lot of in-game knowledge about how these things work and what kind of pieces you can slip together. So shout out to Mao. He's a YouTube creator as well. Let's take a look at his Ruby Fang Harvest Poison Stygian Lich. What do you got? Can I make it big? I'll make it nice big. Ooh, it's laggy too. Stop it. Come on, YouTube. Be better. Oops. Come on, YouTube. You can do it. I believe in you. Melee attacking as a Lich. If you're interested in Liches, you can play this. It's fine. But you should also know that patch 1.3, so we're in Season 2 right now, so Season 3. Season 3 is going to be a patch where Necromancer and Lich both get some extra love. I don't know to what extent there's going to be a rework or what, but I mean, I along with many people, have been waiting for a Lich rework at some point. So if you're interested in Lich, Season 3, patch 1.3, there you go. This is a wonderful demonstration of Lich being strong in Last Epoch. He just like refuses to care about damage. I love it. He also tanked the explosion, which is just a neat thing that Lich gets to do. So this is normal Aberoth. We're just going to click off it in the interest of reading what's going on with this build. So here we go. Here's Mao's description here. He says, yes, before you say anything, I know it's just another Stygian Lich, but before you roll your eyes and go next, let me explain myself. The contest theme made me look at the list of set items, and the only set item that I could think to utilize with the Lich setup is Ruby Fang, and it reminded me that there's a mana gained on harvest use affix, prefix, for body armor. So the upside for utilizing harvest instead of rip blood, which is what you normally do, is that I can maintain current mana pool above 85% basically all the time. I don't have to worry about cast speed on gear, and instead I can focus on being able to stack mana to benefit from the 3% more damage per 10 current mana from Stygian Vise, or Stygian Coal, the offhand that he's using. Since there aren't many other ways, many other multipliers that Poison Stygian can utilize. And this is probably the best way to scale the poison setup. With the typical Rip Blood setup, you're constantly at low levels of mana, so you don't really benefit from the more damage. And beside the mana battery that Rip Blood provides, the Global Flat does not benefit poison stacks at all. Also, people love Harvest, right? Triple question mark. Is it Uber Aberoth viable? It's probably a real struggle, so I wouldn't advise it. I enjoy Poison Stygian for its comfy monolith farming around 800 or 900 corruption. It's easier on my old hands since you just potion a few times and everything dies. Chitin daggers are what you would use for the build if you wanted to build it, but for the contest, we're using a chitin claw instead to make use of Ruby Fang. So let's take a look at the build planner real quick. So Ruby Fang set is an axe and a shield, so we're not using the shield. The only affix that we're using here is the tier 5 suffix, which has melee attack speed and chance to apply poison on melee hit. So we're not stacking up poison chance here. We're not making terribly good use of the set affix. Like, it's not a tier 7 set affix. We're not using the set bonus affix, but it is interesting to see like how can we like revisualize or like reconceptualize these builds that already exist. Like, do they get better if we just make use of these set affixes that are in the game? Which is pretty cool. I do like it a lot. Oh, I didn't even notice there was Mantle of the Pale Ox. Does he have a minion? Pause. Wait. What's on the belt? There's no bees in the belt. Am I... Wait. The relic? The relic! Whoa, wait a minute. Mantle of the Pale Ox with the relic? Okay. Let's go next. Next build. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 5 builds down. Let's go to build number 6. Build number 6 is a pretty interesting one. This is called a Self-penance Sinathia Warlock. So before anything else, let's take a look at the... I guess we have 2 YouTube videos here, so let's pop one of them open first. This is about 500 corruption. Let's see how it looks. Make a big screen. That's 10,000 ward. 15,000 ward. I'm going to need a few more frames here, YouTube. Can you help me out? 14,000 ward, 10,000 ward, 12,000 ward. 9,000, 8,000, 7,000, 8,000, 15,000. 20,000, 10,000. There might be some nonsense going on in here. We'll see. This makes me want to poke around a build planner, doesn't it? Like something's happening here. Self-penance Warlock, huh? All right, let's close this real quick and let's take a look at the boss kill here. This is normal Aberoth, I think. How do I get more frames? Can I do that? No, I can't. God, that's so brutal. Okay, let's go see like the beginning of Aberoth here. Okay. All right. I feel like the first big DPS window can help you get a feel for like what the single target damage looks like. Is it giga damage? Is it a normal build? Is it completely insane? But the damage looks normal. Like I wouldn't necessarily call it a bossing build, but like it looks pretty comfortable. But that ward generation, it's not ward generation. That really stands out to me. Got it. Okay. Let's do some reading here. There's a planner as well, but we'll look at that in just one moment here. So this person says, I found this build when experimenting with self-penance with Pearls of the Swine. Oof, what a crazy amulet. As one build that does not break the servers. It turns out that you can cast Soul Feast and Bone Golem Retaliation a lot with self-hit. Oh, does it break the servers? That's cool. The main idea is that the Sinathia shield affix to get 87% resurrection chance and have an undying skeleton army, which acts as a self-hit, mana, bone armor, and pale ox battery through afflicting them and yourself with penance, which says when they hit an enemy, they get hit by your penance, so you get hit by the one cast on you. Penance. A curse that causes affected targets to take fire damage when they hit an enemy. So, you and your skeletons all have penance on them. Because you're bone cursing yourself and your fellow skeletons. When your skeletons hit somebody else, your penance procs on them. No, sorry. Because like they have penance on them, so they take damage, and then when they take damage, that counts as you dealing damage to them, which means penance gets reflected to you. It's a bug. It doesn't actually hit, but it triggers on hit and when hit. Okay, so it's one of those things where it shouldn't be triggering on hits. Bugs in my video game? Okay, hold on. Let's keep reading. For the fun stuff explanation, penance is a hit and proc bone curse. So for example, when like bone curse deals damage, it's a hit, but it's not supposed to apply anything else, right? It can be blocked. So this is our source of ward generation through ward chance when hit idols. God, using those. Ward on block and Cultivar shield. And self-damn, thanks to Warlock's Aspect of the Death passive node, which can be transformed to ward with Ashes of Immortality. It can also rip blood on enemies to get even more ward. All we need is to ensure that we don't die. Is that I killed myself in-game a lot while experimenting. So we cannot scale damage and spell damage too hard, so we can't do the rip blood stuff. For the damage part, it's pretty much Infernal Shade, Pop, and Witchfire with the new relic and get as much ailment chance as possible. Single target damage a bit low, as I missed a lot of chance on affixes like Spirit Frequency and whatnot. So let's take a look real quick at their gear. They are... What's the set they're using? So Sinathia set here. So 44% chance for one of your skeletons to die to summon a new after 3 seconds. That's cool. And then they're Isadora as well. So tier 5 Isadora suffix on their belt, which is percent increased armor, and then necrotic damage if you've been hit recently. And then they're using a one-piece set with Lich's Envy, which is just for like the minus mana cost. Probably it's spell damage, right? Spell damage for Infernal Shade per active Dread Shade. Okay. The penance skill data is fire dot damage. Shouldn't be triggering a hit. Okay, gotcha. All right. So wait, someone said that they were expecting the ward generation from the shield. It looks like the ward generation is just like 30% chance to gain ward when hits. Just this? They're just... That's it. That's where the ward... Whoa, okay, what's this thing? 19% chance on hits. Oh... It's 90% chance on hits, and like you're hitting your own skeletons. Oh. Wait, does it count hitting yourself? Is it, wait, you're not hitting yourself, you're hitting your skeletons, right? Per igniting dam on the target and 30 ward per igniting dam on you. Yeah. Okay. That's wild. Okay. Yeah, shield ward on block, I suppose. I guess you can block it? Huh. They gain 5 to 6k ward every 2 seconds from ashes alone. 30 ward times 150 stacks in 2 seconds, plus the stacks on your target. Yeah. That's hilarious. Cool. What? This amulet is one of the best items in the game, chat. It's completely insane. Buy now. Alright, love it. Very cool build. Self-penance Sinathia Warlock. Pretty sick. The next build that we're going to look at here is a... let's see. We have a Sunforged Smelter's Wrath build. So let's pop open a video here. Smelter's Wrath. Oh my goodness. I didn't really think that Smelter's Wrath was something that we're going to be highlighting today, but you know, here we are. So let's take a look at this one real quick. Oh, I remember this. I remember my reaction to it. I had a funny reaction to this. There's like 0 frames ever. Okay, are you sure? Quality 1080. Oh, it's way more frames. I'll like take this. What stands out to me about this build is like it's chunky as fuck. Like when I queued this video up for the first time, I'm like, oh, he walks up to tier 4 Jura, he punches with Rive a few times, and like this is gonna be a really long video, right? Like it's like, look at this damage. Look where my mouse is up here. It's like literally 0 damage. And then he just like, oh. It's a big fucking hit. Can I pause it in the right place? Hold on. Yeah, look at that. Almost 2 mil. Yeah, there's an entire ward bar in there too. That's... It's like, oh, you got my attention all of a sudden. That's a lot of damage there, friend. I love it. All right, there's this is normal Aberoth as well. Extra thumpy. It's a big chunk of damage. Here's a Shade of Orbis. Okay, so bosses, big chunky boss damage. Let's see what like do you ever want to map with Smelter's Wrath? I really think that Smelter's Wrath is like not that far away from being like a fan favorite skill. It's really not that far away. Just like a little bit faster. Or maybe don't remove my ability to have haste when I'm playing a Forge Guard, you know what I mean? I honestly think the Forge Guard Mastery is fine. I was ranting about this the other day, but like the Forge Guard Mastery is really not that bad. I would like maybe like 1 or 2 extra touch-ups. Like 1 more pass, like 1 more threshold node somewhere, you know what I mean? But like I think it's like the Forge Guard skills, dude. They don't inspire me the way that I want them to. Thump. All right, nice thump, 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 thump. Let's see what's going on with this build. They say Smelter's Wrath has always had an absurd ceiling. It just kind of sucks to play with. The set honestly doesn't change that much, but it does give a ton of extra points that you wouldn't normally get, as well as generating a bunch of passive benefit for just playing the game. Generating forged weapons gives a lot of free damage / armor, while also looking really cool, true, and pale locks. Everyone knows it's extremely important to look cool, true. Otherwise, people wouldn't be watching your clips and they wouldn't know how much damage you're dealing. Really, though, the build is fun. It's not a turbo mapper in the slightest. Clear speed's a bit low, mid to mid with rares, bosses, and everything else. Bossing is a breeze. They said the hardest part of gearing is legitimately the set. You want some pretty specific items for the weapon, body, and helmet. Merchant's Guild would have made it easier, but I'm all about COF, so it took me a few extra days to get everything put together. Obviously, or other than the obvious sets, none of the uniques are mandatory. Doom Ring, Belt Boots can be replaced with good exalts. I don't know about that. God, Doom's pretty good. Omnis could be a strong crit multi-amulet. The shield could be a high block exalt, but countenance is very hard to replace once you get used to it. Awesome. Love that. So let's take a look at their build planning real quick and see what's going on with this build. So when you're a Forge Guard, you're automatically like a strength stacking build because you get a bunch of passive benefits for being a strength thing. So like... I think we have other ones in here. They're going to use like the last set, the last bear set, like the plus 30 strength, going along with like crit multi per strength, fire penetration per strength, things like that. So I do like the whole strength sub thing with 80 strength going on in this build here. So for a helmet, we have a tier 5, so health regen per forged weapon. On our body armor, we have tier 5 again, which is increased fire damage per forged weapon. And then on this, we have just a sealed tier 1 affix. So this could be like a tier 7 prefix, for example, and that would give you even more flat damage per forged weapon. But for this particular build, it looks like they chose to seal it instead. So there's an option of like where you want to get your flat damage from. When I was thinking about this build, I had to run to a shout out to this one real quick. I was thinking about doing this Obsidian Hammer. It's like a Nemesis base type. It says more melee damage to stunned enemies for like Smelter's Wrath. But like you need to stun the enemy and have them be stunned while you're channeling your Smelter's Wrath, and then deal damage while they're stunned. But like there's such a big wind-up time, so I don't think it quite works out the way that I wanted it to, unless you like figure out some other nonsense to go along with it. But this is a cool two-handed mace. I just wanna do something with this thing. Having more multipliers on your prefix on your weapon is like pretty cool. In any case, let's look at the rest of the build. Do we have any other set modifiers here? No, it's like generic good items, stymied fate for more doom and whatnot. Cool. All right. And then, yeah, +3. So they have +3 to Smelter's Wrath here. So they could have so they're missing 1 level on Smelter's Wrath here. And then they're missing another if they opted instead to use like a Nihilist, for example. So you could get 2 more levels on Smelter's Wrath. So you could be level 29. More damage. Is there anything else that you would want to pick up? I guess you get like armor while channeling, endurance threshold while channeling. It's like there's other stuff that you could do in here as well. You could do shield bash for a guaranteed stun. Shield bash for a guaranteed stun. Pretty cool. We've heard some other people using like shield bash plus other things. I don't know. I don't want to spoil too many cool ideas. But we heard about shield bash with a what was it? What's the big event horizon? The big unique two-handed mace that drops from the Harbingers? Yeah, shield bash with event horizon, stacking strength, getting access to all these nodes up here in Forge Guard. There's some cool stuff. I like it. I like it. So that is our Smelter's Wrath Sunforged set. Love it. The next build we're showing off here is a, let's see if we can pull this up real quick. It is down here, I believe. So here's our next build. This is called Flickering Shadows Infernal Shade Necromancer. So they say that this build has insane damage at low investment. Combo gameplay feels satisfying, and it's got so many more multipliers. So before we read too much, let's go take a look at their videos here. I'll see what exactly is going on. I'm going to fast forward just a teeny tiny little bit here. So this is normal Aberoth, right?
Prove yourselves worthy.
Let's see how this build does against normal Aberoth. I want to fast forward past this. Don't ask me why. All right, here we go. Normal Aberoth. Let's see.
Such wasted potential. All of this would have welcomed
All right, so that was normal Aberoth. Pretty good ROI on like watching time, right? Like really not much to watch. Let's take a look at their map clear as well, because we have some time to spare. Let's see. How's the clear speed? Don't pick up 0 LP uniques during your map clear video. Just go back for it later. Huge shout out to everyone in this contest who makes the build look better than it really is by having screen shake turned on. Like, I don't want to use screen shake, but when I watch a video like this, I'm like, oh shit, they're dealing so much damage. Unbelievable how much. Oh, it just looks like they're dealing damage. But like, this build actually is. I'm in love with the damage. It's like, it's kind of like kick it up. You forgot to turn off the, yeah, you forgot to turn off your screen shake. I understand. That's like normal looking clear speed. Maybe like kind of on the slow side. Let's fast forward a little bit. I forgot to turn it off. But like the damage, it's enormous damage. It actually kind of reminds me of the clear speed of a Serpent Venom build that I played in the past. While it was bugged, of course. But I used to make the joke that Serpent Venom build took about the same amount of time to kill a white monster as it did to kill Aberoth. Because like as soon as you start ramping, like they're dead. But you need to, you need to walk up to the enemy, attack with their melee attacks, wait for it to ramp, right? So, well, you take about the same amount of time to kill a white monster as you do to kill Aberoth. So, The joke survives. Let's take a look what they have here. They say the biggest multiplier is the Flickering Shadows node in Sacrifice, which makes all active Infernal Shades deal 250% more direct damage per minion sacrificed, but it also reduces their remaining duration to 2 seconds. Then we get 500% more damage from Ghostmaker with 8 active rates. Dreadshade grants us 60 to 120% more damage, as well as giving us a lot of flat damage added via the Lich's Envy Set Affix. Dreadshade also summons zombies when we sacrifice the targeted minions, giving us loads of minions to sacrifice. And finally, we use the Infernal Shade node in Dreadshade to refresh the duration of our Giga buffed Infernal Shades. So let's take a look at their build planner real quick. See what's going on here. At a glance, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, so I see a bunch of red items. These are all like the legendary items, but this is a set crafting contest. So I see one non-unique down here. Let's see what exactly they're doing. And they're making use of a tier 7 set affix. And remember, all tier 7 set affixes are only accessible via the new Rune of Havoc. So you really need to like dedicate yourself to making this thing happen. And you need to be luckier at crafting than I am, because it seems to never happen for me. So 22 spell fire damage per, or sorry, 4 Infernal Shade per active Dreadshade. And I think they have like four Dreadshades, something, right? 3 Dreadshades, 4 Dreadshades, somewhere thereabouts. So something like 66 to 88 more extra spell damage. Yeah, love that. Pretty mandatory to get this to tier 7. Love it. So that's where all your flat damage is coming from. Very cool. I think that about does it for the build. Like, you can look through the rest of this build on your own time if you'd like to. But in the interest of keeping up the pace, let's continue. The next build we're going to look at, I actually shamed this build. Where is it? I'm disappointed in the person who submitted this build. They used, I guess, what's the right way to call this? You call it clickbait. They use clickbait in their build to make me want to click on it. And like, you can't just call every build that does damage in a circle RF. Like, I'm going to click on it, and so will every single person on YouTube. But like, shame on you for just like putting the word RF in your build. All right. So we have Poison RF, the ultimate dad build. Fuck, fine, I'll click on it. I like dad builds too.
H2 here for the build contest. I did a Warlock Poison Righteous Fire build using Bone Curse Aura and Aura of Decay. I actually did a similar build back in the Skeleton event pass last September using Bleed with the 4-hit fall off, and you can kind of see on the screen. It lagged the game significantly, but it was a ton of fun, basically just having bleed pops everywhere. You'd walk past and everything would blow up. The reason why, though, this became interesting is the set bonus for Zerrick is 20% less poison and necrotic damage taken for the 3-piece set, which actually helps keep up less damage taken in combination with some of the other Aura of Decay. So you can take the considerable ramping node that you take more and more damage over time, which just allows to apply the ailment. And also, Mark of the Rat, anytime you apply Mark for Death, it spreads all the poisons. And in the patch notes here for Season 2, they actually updated where the Sigil of Mortality can now also apply to the Bone Curse aura, but it applies the mana over time. So this build actually is only possible because of whether this was a bug fix or they decided to make this an actual node here now. It also goes basically in combination with the Pearls of the Swine. So every single
amazing amulet. Can't compliment the creator of this amulet enough. It's so good.
Curse affecting you. So Mark for Death is a curse. We have Decrepify, which is a curse. We have Bone Curse, which is a curse, and then we can also in the node for Chthonic Fissure, there is the node that basically the spirits hit you and apply torment to yourself. So we can have up to 5 curses affecting us, which is a ton of mana per second.
So keep an eye on these numbers down here. Like, this is the dam stacks on ourselves and the poison stacks on ourselves, and then they're making use of less necrotic damage taken, less poison damage taken, because like they're dealing damage to themselves. Right?
In Chthonic Fissure, you can apply Acid Skin, and we don't care about that the crit, but Acid Skin is a poison damage over time. So we're basically applying an additional poison damage over time, along with our own poison damage. And then we also are going to use the Plague Bearer Staff, which is going to increase our damage over time, give us Pen, inflict Plague on hit, which we're going to get from Chthonic Fissure.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. You get a gist of the build, kind of see what's going on in the background. Let's read through this as well, and then we'll pop up in the planner here. So this says Righteous Fire, clickbait, is a classic chill and kill things build, and now Last Epoch something similar, which is sweet. We are utilizing the Zerrick set, which is wild, for glove and belt shards that give us damage over time and movement speed. So you can have double movement speed boots, and he's going to highlight that in this build, which is very cool. So it's double movement speed, not on a pair of LP boots, which is interesting. The set bonus gives us 18% less poison and necrotic damage taken, so we can survive longer from the Aspect of Death node that damns us, dealing necrotic damage over time to ourselves. We stack armor and armor applying to dot as well with the new Weaver idols that make us take less damage over time, which means we can take that ramping node in AOD. The build was made possible by the patch note change where Mark of Death is now reapplied by Bone Curse, and Mark of the Rat can now spread all of our poisons in an aura around us as we cruise by all the minions. Pearls of the Swine is a game changer amulet, giving us tons of ward per second since we have Bone Curse, Mark for Death, and Decrepify, which is more damage over time. So let's take a look at their planner here. They were cruising at 700 corruption on this particular thing. I'm not actually sure why they're using Shroud of Obscurity over Exsanguinous. Is it ward? Is it actually ward? I'm not sure if it's ward or not, but maybe it's for ward or something. Or maybe it's just like the fact that it's 3 LP. But if Das H2O, if you're in chat, you can let me know about that. So let's see, where's our set stuff? Set stuff is, we have a 3 set. Let's see, set here. Let's see. On our belt is melee attack speed, throwing attack speed, potion. So maybe we don't need it on the belt, right? I guess we want the, okay, no, we want the entire 3-piece set because we want the 18% less poison and necrotic damage taken. Got it, so we need the 3-piece. So sealed here, we have tier 5 on this. So damage over time and then percentage of damage leached as health on crit. And then for this one, we have a tier 5. So leech rate and movement speed with sealed tier 7 movement speed. Wait a minute. Sealed tier 7 movement speed along with tier 5 movement speed? Double movement speed? Non-unique, non-LP boots? Holy. Wait, is that double effective haste? The effective haste base type along with like the effective haste tier 5 modifier? This boot is like a second submission to the build contest. Right? Like here's the build, here's the submission, and then like here's the second submission, just a singular pair of boots. Holy dude. All right, I get it. What the heck? Let's move on to the next build. We have 12 builds altogether. This is build number 9 or 10. 10. Build number 10 coming up very shortly. So here's this one. It's from Swooterman. It's called Sirpin's Fractal Siege Barrage. Let's see what's going on. Click. This is about 1,000 corruption. Any audio? Not really. That's fine. So the Siege Barrage node now works with the splitting node as well. That was part of the patch notes. So a lot of people were excited to try this kind of stuff out. And I see a lot of endurance threshold. So I see the endurance threshold popping up when they're standing still. So that tells me that they're using the boots to convert dodge into endurance threshold. And then if they have this much endurance threshold, they're probably using Last Bear Set, because Last Bear Set gives you endurance threshold per strength. Let's see, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, kind of get a feel for like what their clear speed looks like. This is 1,000 corruption, looks pretty good. Damage looks good. Let's do, is there a boss in here? This is normal Aberoth. Okay, so let's see what their normal Aberoth looks like. I love seeing bosses included in all these videos because it gives you a really easy way to like get a feel for what that damage looks like. Like for this, like normal Aberoth, I would want to have a build that at least gets to like the first ward threshold. Like if I'm gonna take a build and kill Aberoth over and over with it, like this is like kind of like maybe like the bare minimum damage for me. Like is that the threshold that we're hitting here? Thunk. Cool. Like it's... I was gonna say, this is a good example of how much damage we deal. This is also a good example of something else. I will leave it as an exercise to the reader to figure out what I'm talking about. Oh. Hmm. That's a nice combination of damage and defense. I would call that a nice combination of damage and defense. All right, let's do some reading then. So, do you want to spit? No. Do you want to hold down one button all the time? Boy, have I got the build for you. Cover the screen with projectiles as a forge guard. This is by far the tankiest build I've ever played, and it puts out very nice damage as well. The bear set serves a huge defensive and offensive boost to us, as we're stacking endurance and endurance threshold to cover nearly our entire health bar, and strength gives us a huge amount of increased damage and armor. We're using Sirpin's Fractal Tree, the two-handed spear, to turn our single target damage into screen-wide clear, and a Countenance of Majasa, one of the standout unique items being added in Season 2, the shield, plus the general sentinel gear to help turn our hit damage reduction into damage reduction, or damage over time, damage reduction as well. Most of our sustain is through Leech, but I do sneak some regen in the build as well. We do have a sustain a little bit more consistently and less reliant on our damage output, and this set helps with all of this with some flat regen. Siege Broad's Javelin is a bit hard to aim because there's a bit of delay when you put them down. Until your damage reduction, or your damage location gets updated, so having some regen while you aren't landing hits is helpful. The basic gameplay is standing still, throw javelins a couple seconds, shield rush to the next pack, and repeat. It's capable of comfortably clearing 1,000 corruption and killing normal Aberoth without ever moving. The build would be thrice as strong if random mobs wouldn't move you 1 pixel and break your while standing still buffs. But that's not the Terra we live in, unfortunately. That's so funny. You get bonuses in Javelin for standing still, and you get defensive bonuses with his boots for standing still. And then if mobs move you, you lose them. That's hilarious. You know what? Petition for EHG. The node that lets you use a two-hander plus a shield at the same time. That node should say enemies can no longer move you. Right? Thematic? Very thematic. Love it. Let's take a look at their gear real quick. It's down here somewhere. Click. Zoop. Let's see, where's their set stuff? So they have Last Bear set. They have tier 5 here. So the health regen per point of strength. So they're intentionally trying to get a bunch of health regen on their gloves here. They have sealed tier 1 for the bear here. And then again, sealed tier 1 for the bear on their helmet. So again, we have 115 strength. And I alluded to this previously, but you could use default two-handed, or the two-handed stuff, like a Titan Heart, for example. Titan Heart gives you damage reduction while using a two-handed spear. But this chest piece gives them, 40 strength, right? And if you want to think about this a different way, using a exalted body armor with the Last Bear set on it, it's like a 30 difference, because you could get tier 7 strength on a LP unique item instead. But just looking at this thing, it has a ton of flat armor. There are no, what's his base type called again? Champion Regalia. There's no unique Champion Regalias. So you have 700, you have the armor mitigation applies to damage over time as well. As long as they don't make an LP item that has a Champion Regalia base type, I think there's a really good argument to be using something like this on a Sentinel build, especially because the Last Bear set exists. Look at what I have here. I have 54 strength from your body armor, along with other relevant text. That's huge. That's almost a unique item by itself, right? With no other text, but then you also get all the other text here. So they have dodge rating. That's adorable. Dodge rating along with the foot of the mountain here. Not sure about that, but it's adorable. So 23% dodge rating here. Like I said, 774, and then when they're standing still, the 774 becomes endurance threshold as well. And of course, strength stacking, forge guard, and all the normal strength stacking stuff that goes along with it. So I guess they don't get this because they're not doing the melee things. They have dexterity. How much dexterity do they have? They did 69 dexterity. Holy moly, did they really? Oh, T5 dexterity, T5 dex. Okay, cool. And then dexterity strength is the prefixes. Attunement strength up here. There's some cool moving pieces in this build. I like it. So again, you can always poke through this plan on your own time, but we are going to move on for the sake of keeping up the pace. We've done 10 builds so far. Let's go take a look at number 11. Number 11 is from user Encharian, and this is a Bear Vessel of Strife build. So let's take a look at the video, and then we'll read through some of the text here. So this is a Paladin build against normal Aberoth. Let's see. Get in there. Fight some dudes. So at face value, what do we see? I see that we're using multi-strike as a primary source of damage. This looks like multi-strike melee stuff, just like the new multi-strike node. I see screen shake, which makes the build look awesome. I see a lot of ward generation here. So like we have 2,000 health, but then we also have like 5,000 ward. It's like kind of going up pretty consistently. I like this. Oh, and Charian, the person who made this build, says, I forgot to use Throne of Ambition, so I'm missing 40% more damage. Whoopsie daisy. Is it 40% or 20%? I thought it's 20%. I should turn on my screen. You should turn on your screen check. If you've ever wanted to feel better about yourself, turn your screen check on. Let's see the initial slam. And like how much damage can you deal to normal Aberoth before the initial slam? To me, this is like as good a demonstration of your single target damage as like fighting tier 4 Julra, like in the Temporal Sanctum. Just like, here's this boss, there's this very definite amount of time before they do their initial slam. How much damage can you deal in that slam? Or like in that time period? I love seeing this as a highlight in any YouTube video. Like, here's the damage. Or here's my ability to stand in one-shots. All the Sentinel builds are just like flexing how tanky they are. I'm here for it. Can I vent for a moment? The multi-strike animation. We're gonna rewind, hold on. Over here. Why? Listen, maybe somebody else thinks it's cool. Maybe. I hope somebody thinks the multi-strike animation is cool. Deep breath. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It says, I set out to make a ZDPS Giga Tank build. The build I made is neither ZDPS nor Giga Tank. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. The idea is to use T7 Last Bear Set Affix, which is health regeneration per strength, and combine the strength stacking with Vessel of Strife together. If I remember that Primalist also had regeneration per strength, I probably wouldn't have made a Paladin, but alas, here we are. We use Ignite Multi-Strike as a low investment way to get DPS and actually performed exceptionally well with minimal effort. I went through quite a few DPS options, but Multi-Strike was clearly the above par. No Bleed Vengeance, no Ignite Vengeance. Cleaver's Solution is a decent weapon for the build, but the Weapon Master node gives us bleed chance. Giving us bleed chance is somewhat disappointing, and we can't use Malin's Hubris due to our set gloves. Here's where a champion affix of all things comes to the rescue. Love this. The Meteor Champion affix converts our extra bleed chance into more ignites and rolls on axes. A Dragonbone axe with this affix. Is it really roll on axes? I thought it was like scepters only or something. Or like maces only. Huh. The Dragonbone axe with this affix gives us a nice damage boost, and we don't really need the retention from Cleaver Solution, especially because the strength to intelligence stuff, intelligence is half as much ward retention as it used to be. Note that the garbage axe I'm using is the single best axe I could craft from what was available on trade. They weren't expensive, they just don't exist. Please buff champion drops. Love it. Let's take a look. Let's see. Resilient to one-shots, large ward pool. I guess this is interesting. Let's keep reading for just a moment here. They said soft capped armor being like 12,000 or something. In our incidentally high endurance threshold, we are also extremely resilient against dots, as not only do we have a very solid 1,600 ward per second, we get insanely high recovery when we dip into our health. about 5,800 effective HP per second, and it becomes ludicrous when we dip below our endurance threshold, about 12,000 effective HP per second. It's very hard to die to dots alone. The build is far less tanky than the numbers suggest, however, as the trouble starts when big hits and big dots are present simultaneously. It isn't that hard for the dots to burn down the ward down to our health, and our lack of actual HP, only about 2,000, leaves us vulnerable to one-shots while our ward is being kept down by a big dot, even though the dots aren't really capable of downing the build on their own. This leaves the build awkwardly squishy in situations where it should instead feel tanky. I wanted to tank Uber Aberoth. In theory, we should be able to tank Uber Aberoth. In practice, I was unable to. So, if you want to do something really cool, take this build to the next level. Let's take a look at the gear real quick. Oop. Loading. I have too many tabs. So with strength stacking, we get to use a Bastion of Honor. Pretty cool. 178 strength. Holy crap, that's a lot of strength. Let's see what else is going on here. So we have sealed tier 2, sealed tier 1, and then a tier 7. Love that. Tier 7 health regeneration per point of strength. So this is 3% increased. Love that. I assume that we also have like a health regen blessing over here. That's cool too. And then on our Vessel of Strife, so much easier to get like guaranteed tier 1 slams these days, because you can just put whatever you want on your Vessel of Strife. So in the past, you put like flat or like T7 percent increased health regeneration for like a generic Vessel of Strife. But in season 2, we have access to new affixes. So it's less flat HP than a tier 7 flat HP affix. But in return, it also gives you flat health regeneration. So this person has 4,000 health regen. That's quite a bit of health regeneration, huh? And 38%. This was nerfed, unfortunately. But it used to give like up to 66% of health regen applies to ward. So in season 2, they toned this down a little bit. So unfortunate, but there's still a lot of ward being pumped in this build. So I'm pretty impressed by that. Very cool. Oh, I guess like I can show this as well. I thought this was like maces only. I guess I've only ever seen it on a mace, but I guess maybe the mace was the electrify or like smite on hit affix or something. Maybe I just haven't been paying enough to the champion affixes. I've been pretty unimpressed by the champion affixes, but I am really happy to see this one here. So that's great. This is bleed converted to ignite. And of course they said that they can't use Malins, which is what you would instead use, because they're trying to use the last bear here. So kind of mixing and matching where you're getting these different stats from. Love that. I know that sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I actually do love that. I think that's really interesting. Cool. So that was build number 11. Build number 12, our last build for voting. Let's scroll down to this one here from user Valinov. So Valinov has Ferebor's Shattering Solution. Let's take a look at the gameplay video. We'll take a look at tier 4 Julra first. We'll see how it looks, and then we will read through the written text as well. Click. What do you got? Tier 4 Julra, dude. Bum 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 bum. Boy, that's a lot of armor shred. It's like 320 stacks of armor shred. Looks like it needs like some ramp to get started. Like you can kind of tell like at the very beginning, like you don't really have much time to like get everything set up here. But like once he flips back after the first big one shot, like this is kind of chunky damage, isn't it? It's hard to get champion affix with the proper use of affix and crafting. Yeah, completely agree, SRK. This is some big damage. I'm kind of a fan of it. I want to see this video as well. I think this video is the kind of video that would make somebody want to either play this build or maybe like iterate on this build and see if there's like anything else that you could do with it. Because I know that some people look at a video like this and it makes them want to log in. And frankly, same. Yeah, all right. That's a lot of damage numbers. I like it. So let's see what the written text is here. Do you like builds that make your CPU sweat? Do you enjoy massive near screen wide explosion effects? then you're in the right place. My idea was to try to make a functional upheaval totem build. Upheaval totem's in a weird spot right now. It finally has enough duration to be useful, but it caught a stray nerf to the storm totem stuff in 1.1, overperforming. The buff it used to apply on totems used to stack infinitely, allowing for the longer duration to make them deal respectable damage, but has a cap now in 1.2. And scaling melee damage for totems has always been questionable, so what do? Enter reworked sets in Season 2. Combining the Ferebor set along with Cleaver Solution means that we basically get free 100% crit for totems by stacking strength. So you stack strength to intelligence from Cleaver Solution, and then intelligence gives you crit on your totems. I tried to maximize benefits from strength stacking across the board, so we get a few other things like Vessel of Strife. So every point of strength gives us % armor, % health regen, % ward retention, increased damage and base life with the upheaval totem, and flat base critical strike chance for totems. Love it. So how do we do damage? We shatter our totems. This gives us access to an easier version of minion scaling, spell damage. Tempest Strike ramps 8 minion spell damage, thanks to our free intelligence from Cleaver Solution. Then we use a combination of Tempest Strikes, self-double cast tornadoes to generate lots of hits, to proc totems from our idols to ensure that there's always something to be exploded. As a bonus here, each of those totems also explodes when procced or destroyed to deal more damage. Another fun trick for more hits is by attacking once with Gathering Storm. Over our DPS cycle, we get infinite storm stacks, because as soon as you get one, then you can generate them from other sources. And then we consume those with Tempest Strike to double our hits per swing. Cool. Let's take a look at their build planner real quick. Somewhere, current build. Okay, so this is the goal planner. Love that. So, let's see. We have... let's see. Let's look for our green items. So we have a 2-piece Ferebor sets. And then we have a tier 7 affix on our dagger here. So tier 7 gives us crit multi for totems, and then up to 1.1 critical strike chance. So it's additive, like flat crit chance, 4 totems per intelligence. And then we have 129 strength. We're stacking strength. And then Cleaver Solution goes strength to intelligence over here for 129. And then we have a sealed tier 1 affix on our ring. Super cool. For set crafting, do we have anything else going on? Yeah, we have a tier 1. I guess it's a 1 piece, I guess, but health regen per set of, or per point of strength, the tier 7 affix on our gloves. It actually gives us, look at this, 1800 health regeneration, building this out. So that, like, normally it's hard to build health regen along with like a respectable life total. With 3,500 life, which is pretty respectable, along with 1,800 health regen, turning that into ward per second with the Vessel of Strife. That's a pretty cool combination right there. I do like it. And then Mantle of Pale Ox is like one of the best new unique items added in the game. It's like enormous in DR, along with also having strength and life and movement speed. Holy moly. So, love the looks of this. Before we start doing voting, because we have done 12 builds at this point, I did say that there was one video or like one build submission that I didn't want to include because I was trying to cut it all the way down to 10. So now we have 12, but I had trouble cutting this one. So we're going to call this an honorable mention. So this is not something that I'm going to let you vote on, but I do think it's pretty sick. And I do think that you will want to watch this. So this is Krathamor's build. It's called an Apocalypse Shaman using the Halvar set. So why it's sweet? We got some flavor stuff here, but this is a cast on crit spellcast loop auto bomber. And like, shame on everybody who calls their build RF, and shame on everybody who calls their build an auto bomber. But like, this build stood out to me because technically this does kind of look like an auto bomber. It kind of looks like 0 buttons need to be clicked. Obviously your build gets a lot better if you're actually clicking things, but technically there's a spell loop going on here, and that really stands out to me. So this is the Halvar set, along with Fire Tornadoes from the unique gloves spell loop. All right, what do you got? Just walking around doing nothing? It's cool. Oh. Okay. Cool. We did the preliminary voting yesterday. or like preliminary, like going over all the builds, trying to narrow it down just to 10 of them. I gotta tell you, it was hard to narrow down 27 builds from this contest into just 10. So I didn't. Like, I did 12, but like, there were some really cool build ideas. I'm glad that this contest turned out pretty well. Like, they could do more. Like, they could click buttons and have more damage, right? But like, look, it does auto, and it does bomb, and it is a spell loop. Look at that. Halvar set. Ta-da. Pretty cool. You know what this build needs? It needs access to focus as a skill, like that it can spec into, along with the mana guide amulet. You know what I mean? Like, take a look at the mana. Take a look at the mana situation. And just imagine, like, an automated spellcast loop something, but you're just, like, T-posing around with your mana guide. Imagine. Just imagine. What does this build really need? New Tornado MTX? Okay, that might be true as well. But I like it. Super cool idea here. All right, so what do we got then? We need to do a little build contest voting then, don't we? So we will be voting on which build is the sweetest. So I said at the very top of the hour when we started this that this is a build contest for set item crafting. When it comes to like a sweet build is not necessarily like the one that deals the most damage, but it might be. So for this time around, we're gonna have two separate categories. One category for like sweet build and one category for like biggest damage, right? I think I know who's gonna win the most damage, but like second and third place, we can certainly vote on that, or we can just like do DPS measurements, I suppose. But let's create a nice little straw poll real quick. Sweetest build. All right. This is in light mode, so I just apologize. For those of you who have never seen the sun, just like close your eyes real quick, okay? Like this. Sweetest build, dude. Let's do this. How many have we? 12 options here. Let's see. We have a poison shield rush paladin. We have a cold spriggan form gattling gun. We have the Whipperlock. This is Spine of Malatros. That thing here. We have the Ruby Fang Harvest Poison Stygian Lich. We have a Self-penance Sinathia Warlock. We have a Sunforged Smelter's Wrath. We have Flickering Shadows Infernal Shade Necromancer. We have Poison RF hyphen the Ultimate Dad build. Thierpin's Fractal Siege Barrage. It's like a strength stacking forge guard. We have Encharian Bear Vessel of Strife. This was Ignite multi-strike. Oh, yeah. This is like 5,000 ward or whatever. And then at the very bottom, we have Ferebor's Shattering Solution. There we go. Let's do this. I'll pull the dog over here real quick. Multiple choice. Don't really want multiple choice here. Allow selection of multiple options. Do I want that? Maybe I'll let people select two, three. You can select. You know what? I guess we're gonna do first, second, and third place. I'll let you do that. Let's see. Do this. Result visibility, not public. Public after end dates. Edit votes. I think this looks good then, yeah. Sweetest build season 2. Please enter a valid date. I'm trying to. I'm done. Good. A straw poll. Love that. Okay, so let's take this straw poll. We will post this right here in the Twitch chat. I'll post this on the YouTube side as well, so anyone who's watching will be able to click on those buttons. So I will take a brief break for the purpose of refilling my water. Drink more water, Chad. I'll go refill my water. You will vote on this, and then we'll talk about the winners when I get back. Thanks for being here. And welcome back. All right, what do we got? Let's see what we're cooking with. So as a reminder, let's see. Cool. So as a reminder, the winner of these, the first place in terms of sweetest build and the first place in terms of most damage, will both be getting 3-month subscriptions to this channel here on Twitch. So second and third place for each one will be getting 1-month subscription. And then, man, I just saw somebody vote. Chat, don't vote right now. You're supposed to vote like 2 minutes ago. Come on. I'm trying to tally things. Actually, there's a tie for third place. If you haven't voted, go ahead and vote right now. I'll give you like another 60 seconds, just because there happens to be a tie for third place right now. We don't want ties. Ties are boring. Come on, I want winners and losers. Give me something good. At some point, I'm gonna cut it off. Get him. Should I cut it off right now? It's not a tie currently. Ah, fuck, it's a tie again. No! Alright, I'll wait. All the votes are just like trickling in. There's a good number of votes right now. I think there's like sufficient votes right now. Is it good enough? Let's see. Where vote? Here's the straw poll if you haven't seen it already. The competition's so good, I didn't even vote for my own build. God bless you. All right. God, the votes are still coming. I gotta cut you off. Can I cut it off here? Like first place is pretty solid. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Honestly, second through sixth are really close. Second through sixth, that's a lot of places to be close. Should I close it? I could close it like right now. If nobody votes in 5 seconds, I'm closing it. Huh? It's like a subathon. Like it only goes, 5 seconds every time somebody votes. It's still tied. All right. Listen, Twitch chat. I feel like you're doing this to me intentionally. You're not supposed to be able to see the results. You can't see the results yet, right? I hope not. The intent is that you cannot currently. I can see the vote. You can't. I hope. You can't see it? Good. Get him. All right. I'm gonna close it here then. Just like this. But it's literally tied currently. It's so brittle. All right. All right. So one of them held on to second place longer. Listen, it's my discretion. I'm the admin. I'm gonna call one of these second place, and I'll call the other one third place. Okay? Because second and third place get the same prize anyways. It's just like bragging rights at that point. So I'm gonna close it off then. You can keep voting if you want, but it's not gonna matter anymore. So let's take this guy, put this over here, go like that. All right. So we have rank 1, 2, and 3, baby, coming in third place for the season 2 build contest. Let's scroll down until we can find it. So everyone that we scroll past can feel bad about themselves. Let's see. How about... Where is it, chat? Where is it? Is this one? Third place. This third sweetest use of set affixes is the Self-penance Sinathia Warlock. Love it. So as a reminder, let's watch this video real quick. This is the build that is casting penance on themselves via Bone Curse and the Amulet, causing like a whole bunch of small hits to happen. They're using the 1x2 new Weaver idols to get ward gained when you are hit, and they're hitting constantly. Combining this with the Ashes of Mortality ring, post-nerf Ashes of Mortality ring, generating a few thousand ward every 2 seconds in a huge burst. I love it. There's a lot of ward generation. There's like some pretty cool ideas in this build in terms of like generating ward for defense. I expect that people who are like watching this video now, maybe live or maybe later after the fact, are going to take the ideas of this build and kind of like run with them. Like this is a really cool defensive idea here. So this is third place, the Self-penance Sinathia Warlock. Love it. After that, second place for the sweetest build. Drum roll, please. Let's see. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Where's our second place build, chat? Where is it? The second place build is somewhere. It's definitely somewhere. I thought I scrolled past it already. Where'd it go? Cold Spriggan form Gatling gun last bear set. Love it. So as a reminder, this was the video here from X Dumped. So congratulations to him. Let's see. We got our strength plus Polaris. Give him a spell damage per 2 strength. You play the penance thing, but you think it's bugged. Yeah, it definitely seems like a bug, right? It is cool as hell, though. Look at this thing. Alright. Very cool idea of combining the strength bonus from last bear set with Polaris. So the number one build, the sweetest one. I lost my tab. Where'd my tab go? The sweetest build here. You gotta scroll all the way down to the bottom, Chad. That's where you find the good stuff. Where's the rank 1 sweetest build that easily the most people voted for? Would you believe that it's clickbait? God damn it. All right, so we have some clickbait poison RF baby coming in from H2O. I'm pretty sure H2O has also won a previous build contest as well. So his brain is just getting bigger and bigger over time, which is wonderful. So this build was using a set to get less necrotic and less poison damage taken, helping to mitigate the downside, which would otherwise be pretty big for how much damage over time you were putting on yourself with dam stacks and poison stacks, playing this like AOD bone curse. I want to say auto bomber, but I guess RF is like a little bit more appropriate, isn't it? So the ultimate dad gaming. It speaks to me, Chad. It speaks to me. It's pretty cool. So shout out to H2O for winning this one. GG. All right, so we will call it there then. The ultimate dad build. So again, 3 months for the rank 1, and then 1 month subscription for the rank 2 and rank 3. In terms of the most damage, I don't know who's getting second place and third place. I don't think we need to vote at all about first place, but Twitch chat, while I'm yapping here, help me figure it out. Who's gonna be second place, who's gonna be third place? The rank 1 seems very straightforward, right? I think this Flickering Shadows Infernal Shade Necromancer is completely nuts. So just real quick, let's look at their build planner for this one. They were using the T7 spell damage for Infernal Shade, and the benefit really of using this on a normal pair of gloves instead of using the set item is that we also get like the right base type, so we get the armor mitigation applies to damage over time, and then we also get this current health loss per second to go along with the rest of our like low life ward scaling stuff. So you get like the set item, you get the best part of the set item, and you get to sneak in even more armor and even more synergy for like your defensive setup. So that is very cool. I'm going to show this real quick just to make a case for why this is, in my opinion, the biggest damage that we've seen. It's not really an opinion, is it? But the biggest damage that we've seen during this contest here. So I'll run this clip real quick. Who gets second and third place? Second and third. Who gets second and third place? Can you get a link to this build? The links will all be in the description of the video after the fact. You can also join Discord right now and get a link to everything. It's all present and waiting for you. This is big damage. Who's getting second and third place? Who's got the big damage out there? Huh. I would say, like, off the top of my head. Oh, the Melatros. Oh, absolutely the Melatros one. Wait, that was crazy damage. Yeah, where is that? Antenz, Flickering Shadows. Maybe the Smelter's Wrath as well. In a longer fight, the whip probably does the most DPS. Which one? Who wins? Oh, you know what? I even have more information to share with you at the very end of this. I'll tack this into the description and put it at the end of the video. But let's go to Smelters. Get them in a Discord call and let them do normal Aberoth at the same time. That's hilarious. So we can either have like the Antenz Whipperlock, which is the Spinal Melatros build. Would that be like the most damage? It literally stunned Uber Aberoth. It's like pretty insane. The Infernal Shade thing. And what? The Infernal Shade was a lot of damage. You go for the build that actually had the Uber Aberoth kill posted. I like that. And then okay, so we'll do the Spinal Melatros stunning Uber Aberoth. I like that. We'll do the Infernal Shade as rank 2. What do you think for a rank 3, chat? Rank 3 DPS build. The ones that come to mind for me would be like either... It's gotta be Smelter's Wrath. Like either Smelter's Wrath or the Totem Explosion. You think Smelter's Wrath? Yeah. Shattering Solution. It's close. The Cold Lich build? That build wasn't that much damage, right? Let's see, what do we have from Mau Mau X? Smelter's about the chunky. It was very chunky. I said most damage and I didn't say most DPS. That's hilarious. Is it a most DPS or most damage? You know what? Listen, I'm gonna give the third rank prize to Smelter's Wrath. And one of the deciding factors in here is that I know Valinov. He's great. He's on YouTube as well. You can always sub to him. He's the one who did the totem build. I'm going to use this as a chance to highlight somebody else's brain, okay? So we're going to give Smelter's Wrath the third rank. Because it was pretty chunky damage. That's very exciting. Okay, so we have our 1, 2, 3 for damage. We have our 1, 2, 3 for the contest for the sweetest build as well. And at the very end of this video right now, I want to highlight a couple things to you. So for this, I guess we'll go like this real quick. I'll share this little piece of information. So this is a breakdown on the screen here of what people were trying to build around. So we had, I tried to break it out by like which people were using like one specific affix as opposed to which people were like using the entire set. So across all 27 submissions here, like one person was using like the Invoker set for like the entire set bonus, and there were 2 other people who were only exclusively using the Set Affix instead. So I thought that was like reasonable to break it out. Most bear users were using the 3-piece set for bear. One person was only using the 2-piece set instead. There's only 1 Shattered Lance here. 2 people trying to make use of the Zerrick set. So if you care about breaking it out between these things, you can like take a screenshot of this here, for example. But the other breakdown is this, and this is top to bottom, the most used and the least used set for the contest. So this is not necessarily like which one's the strongest, because I think the Vilatria set is like obviously very strong. Like 1 flat damage per 2 intelligence is pretty good with the staff. But just like these are the things that people wanted to build around. This is what made people think that they could connect more dots and make something sweet happen. So if I were a member of 11th Hour Games, for example, I would look at data like this and be like, okay, so maybe like 6 people did the entire sets for the last bear, but you know, one person tried to use like only 2 of them, kind of mix and match. And I would look at this and say like, okay, these are the kinds of things that people are gravitating toward to make like cool builds. Like, are there strong builds down here? Like, only one person did Forgotten Night. Forgotten Night plus Time Rot is strong. It is cool. And you don't even need to use it for a Time Rot build. You could just use it for the % more void damage per stack of Time Rot on the enemy. But in terms of like trying to make something cool happen, people were gravitating toward these other things instead. So in some ways, it's like it's a popularity contest, or this is just like what people who are trying to brainstorm new builds are reaching for in terms of a tool. You know what I mean? So pretty cool stuff here. I like this. I'll put this in the description of the video as well, because I know people are always interested in that kind of stuff. I don't know how long season 2 will last. If it lasts 9 months, we'll do another build contest. If it lasts 3 months, we will not do another build contest until season 3 rolls around. If you like any of these builds, if you're playing them, if you're going to iterate on them, if you're going to make them your own and try to take them to the next level, let me know. It's always very exciting. Otherwise, check out the archive section of my Discord. You can see all the discussions and submissions and everything that took place previous to this build contest here, because everything there is archived for you. So thanks for being here. I appreciate sticking around for a long video. I'll see you next time.